what are your buy parameters. It's not about what stocks a good stock to buy, but based on your parameters, based on your technicals and fundamentals, which among them fit you. So it's really about what buy and sell triggers are you actually using. Hey guys, so I'm back in Manila. I know I haven't done this in a while, but it's been crazy. You know, the past few weeks have been crazy. The travels. I'm gonna end the year with 71, I think 72, 73 flights for the year, including the Boracay one we're having this weekend. So it's been hectic. We had a lot of talks. We had a lot of activities over the past few days. That's why I didn't have the chance to do a lot of the videos as well. So now we're here. I have a couple of minutes to spare. A lot of things has happened in the market, so send in your questions. I'll give you time before we start talking about the markets as well. By the way, congratulations to the Philippines winning Miss Universe. It's nice to see Filipinos like that excel no, in a global stage. It just shows us that Filipinos can be world class. It just shows us that Filipinos can do a lot of amazing things. That if they can do it in the realm of Miss Universe, then you can do it also as an employee. You can do it also as a I don't know, as a business person, as a athlete. That wherever you are in the world, you can win and you can do it as well. So I also came from One News TV where we did an interview for Bloomberg Philippines. It was funny, no, while we were doing the interview for Bloomberg, Miss Universe was live. As Miss Universe was live, people were cheering. So during the interview, you would hear people shout as well. So you can check that. I already posted the video on my interview. It was at the part where I was talking about Jollibee. So there. Yeah, we have people joining us already online. Number one, you have Chris Saporstinos. Hello to you. Mark, yeah, I'm inspired to try onion rings of fake cuts. Nako, hindi. Nag-iwas ako ng carbs going to the beach this weekend. So, hindi muna. Again, same motto. Huwag kang choosy kung hindi ka yummy. So, I can't really eat as much of those fatty foods. No? So, thanks. But before I would eat at 8 cuts, their burgers are good. They're okay. You should try. Syempre before Shake Shack opens, so Shake Shack will open next year. But you should try Burger Geek in Alabang. Amazing. Masko niya. What's a good stock to buy? Nako, that's not a question that you should ask. The question you should be asking and what you should know is, I'll point the question back to you. What have you researched? What are your buy parameters? It's not about what stocks a good stock to buy, but based on your parameters, based on your technicals and fundamentals, which among them fit you. So it's really about what buy and sell triggers are you actually using. Kasi you have to remember what works for me may not work for you, and what worked for you may not work for me as well. So you have to find a sweet spot where your technicals, your fundamentals, your cash, your timeline will work for you. Louis Delin, good PM, Sir Marvin. Hanggang saan po kaya abot ang index next year? Thanks, from San Andres, Manila. By the way, comment your name, where you're from as well, so I get to answer you holistically as well. I said this also in the Bloomberg interview, no, that the index must break out from the 200-day moving average. The index must go above 7570 for it to actually have a trigger to go higher. Without that trigger, you can't really expect the index to turn bullish. We broke that a few days ago, kaso it did not hold it. We were not able to break past the 200-day moving average. Hence, the 200-day moving average now serves as our resistance level. So let me show it to you a bit. There you go. So this is your resistance level. As you can see, it tried to break out of that area just a few days ago, but after that it failed to hold, went down, and now it's trying to be the resistance. So the expectation there is this: if it fails to break out of that over the next few days, then there's a possible retracement. I said in the Bloomberg interview that the next support levels are at 7.4, 7.268. So failure to break out of 7.570, there's a possible retracement at around 7.4, 7.2, and 6.8 being our strongest support level. But if it goes above that, breaks out of that, I really believe that the market now reverses and turns bullish. More upward motions will be possible. So all will hinge on the 7,570 level. Lotus Mendoza, hello Sir Marvin, watching from Qatar. What can you say about BPI? Can you share, what's this? Can you share about its fundamentals and what to watch out for the technicals? Thank you. I mentioned this, that valuation wise, no, a lot of the good banking stocks have dropped, meaning as it started to drop, a lot of the good ones became cheap, especially BDO, especially Security Bank. But my premise, no, and my style in all of my analysis is basically looking at it from a level of growth. Among all of those banks that I've mentioned, I really believe that one of the ones that gives you the best growth is Security Bank. I really believe that aside from Security Bank, you also have BDO that could give you, I guess, a larger sense of an upside when it comes to stocks that you would want to watch as well. So there, BPI though for the day, let me check how it moved. It closed at 93.8 pesos per share. So now, from a tech perspective, since it closed at 93.8 pesos per share, you can see it's basically at the resistance, no? So the resistance now is at 95 for BPI. Since it's at 95, you have a hesitation for it going up. Since there's hesitations for it going up, you can't really expect it to go higher unless it breaks that resistance level. So I'm pegging that there's a resistance at around 95 pesos per share. So if it fails to break out of 95, you can't really expect it to go higher over the midterm. So there. BPI though is fundamentally sound. It's still one of the biggest companies. It's not growing as fast as Security Bank. It's not going as fast as BDO. But at the end of the day, it has to be something that you can buy based on your risk and reward. So now what I can tell you is this: BPI is at the resistance. It fails to break out of that. We can't really expect it to go much higher. Even De La Cruz. By the way, if BPI breaks out of 95, then the stock turns bullish. Even De La Cruz. What do you think will happen tomorrow for ISM? ISM. So ISM, I've mentioned this in previous posts, that from a technical standpoint, it failed to break out of the 8.4 resistance level. Aside from it not breaking from the 8.4 resistance level, it already broke some key support levels as well. It also broke below the 20-day moving average. If you see this is where ISM is. It failed to break out of this resistance level. Then it also failed to break out of that moving average. Something's happening at the back, guys. Whoa, what's that? Oh, it's dogs. So akala ko ano yung noise, those are just basically dogs. But so number one, ISM failed to break out of 8.6. Number two, it broke the 20-day moving average, which is a relatively fast moving average as well. Then you see it start to consolidate. One thing to watch out for is the 5.2 support level. If the 5.2 support level does not hold, you may expect ISM to retrace and go downward. Please remember, ISM moved up based on pure news, based on news of Miss Latel, based on news on its Udena. But other than that, it really hasn't shown us any fundamental sound. Anything that's fundamentally sound that could cause you to buy. You have to remember my style. No, I don't speculate. I buy stocks based on the numbers. I buy stocks based on either technicals, as what you're seeing right now, or fundamentals, which ISM does not have any yet. But if there is already, I will update you as well. As you all know, that's my goal. That's my narrative. My goal is to just update you and keep you and help you as well. Sir Marvin, what's your insights on SSI? So parang naging stocks by request na rin to, no? By the way, I'll entertain those that have questions that are not stocks by request related first. But if you have any particular questions, also let me I guess give you let me give you, I guess, a better and bigger understanding of all of it. So number one, SSI lost money years back. SSI lost money quarters back. SSI is still bearish. It still hasn't come out of its downtrend. SSI, if you look at it also, it's showing you that moving averages are not as strong, are not as holistic also, that if it breaks below this moving average of around 2.3, you may expect that this stock can continue its downward move as well. So from a position trading standpoint, no, it must break out of the very, very long and very, very strong downtrend for it to move up. I think the news on Shake Shack will be a positive trigger. Shake Shack is a crowd drawer. Shake Shack will add revenue to it. I myself am a big fan of Shake Shack. Morleo from Japan, hello to you. I'll be in Japan this April, so I hope to see you there. Chris Saportinos asking for Metro Bank. June Coral asking for Vita. Emmanuel Stocks asking for Tel. Tel is bearish. Tel is not... its income is declining, so from a fundamental standpoint, it's not as good. Tel from a... I don't know, from a tech standpoint is also bearish, so I'm not buying Tel. I'm not a big fan of it. It's not something that I might get into for the short term. Christian Garcia, I just answered ISM. Eric Castor asking for Didi. The biggest problem with Didi, no, there's walang problema yung Didi sa... Walang problema yung Didi in terms of earnings. It's earning good, it's earning well. It's just that it has a lot of debt and it's expensive. Please remember, even though Didi has dropped from 80 to 17, 80 to 18, the stock is still expensive, and from a tech standpoint, the stock is still bearish. Look at this. There you go. It still hasn't broken out. It still hasn't reversed. Money's still moving out of the stock, and you really can't expect it to go up, go high as well. So there. John Kabuyaw, do you trade third liner stocks and blue chips, which is let me see, which is better for traders? What are the pros and cons? What are the pros and cons? It's not really about pros and cons, but it's really basically on what gives you the most buy signals. So there, so that's the plan for it. No, if for me, what gives me the most buy signals, that's what I'm getting into. What gives me the most buy signals, that's what I guess it's gonna help me. Meaning, either if it's a blue chip company, either if it's a third liner, it's speculative. If I'm trading it, the main decision point for me is I'm buying it because of technicals. The main decision point for me buying it is because I love it, because the charts are dictating it, and that's my narrative, that's my goal, and that's how I want to trade it. It's not really because third liner siya, it's not really because there's news surrounding it, but it's because the technicals are dictating it as well. So I guess the problem lang for some stocks, no, that are smaller is that you can't trade larger amounts, and it meaning especially if you're trading 10 million, mas mahirap lumabas pag 10 million na yung tinitrade mo and you're buying smaller stocks. Then some other stocks that are smaller have lesser liquidity, meaning it would be harder for you to also come in and out as well if you want the ones that are liquid, and that's a limitation for technical analysis. If there's no liquidity, or it's not, volume is not there, it will give you a lot of false signals. So but if you're an investor, of course I'll tell you, buy. By the way, I don't even use the term blue chip. I use fundamentals more. Blue chip is such a subjective term. It's such a subjective word that use the numbers, use the fundamentals to dictate whether you're supposed to buy it. So for me, it's not whether it's blue chip or not. It's not whether it's third liner or not. It's mainly because if it's fundamentally sound and valuations it's cheap and the fundamentals tells me it's growing, that's when I start to buy it. I hope this is helping you, but regardless if it's third liner or blue chip, if you're trading, technicals dictate for me. If I'm investing, I only want stocks that are fundamentally sound. So Michael Lim from Quezon City, I just want to ask, can you elaborate on investment REITs? Don't know if it's spelled out specifically about real estate. If you're talking about REITs, it's real estate investment trust. It is a stock that buys you shares into a corporation that has rental income, meaning you buy a mall you get a share in the rental income of all of the tenants, then 90% of it comes out as dividend. So I have REITs, but it's REITs that I own in Singapore. It's a good source of passive income from dividends. That the dividends are relatively higher than the common shares and the preferred shares that you have. Plus, it gives you capital appreciation. So, REITs is good because of the dividend component. If you want passive income that's higher, bigger, better, REITs is something that is good for you. FGEN. FGEN is heavily indebted. FGEN is heavily indebted. I think that's one thing. But EDC is profitable. The thing that I have lang with FGEN is its earnings are not growing. I'm a big fan of companies whose earnings are growing, but it's into renewables, it's into energy, it's into something that gives you the ability to earn into areas where the country really needs it, and FGEN fits that bill very well. From a tech standpoint though, what's nice about it, after months and years of it being battered, it started to reverse. As you can see it here, where there it started to reverse from this aspect. So after reversing, after breaking out, for those who attended the Stock Smart sessions, you know what this means, you know what the pupul means, you know what the trigger for this is, and after that you saw the stock start to move up and push. If you are a position trader, since the stock started to reverse, since the stock started to move up, kudos to you, because from a position trading standpoint, it's a very good stock right now because it's reversing up, pushing up, going higher, and it's very good if you are the ones following the charts. But if you're investing in it, I believe there are better opportunities out there. If you're trading, follow the trend, keep on holding your position until there's a reversal. I'll update you as well. Si Grace Rivera from Israel. So John Nard, I answered your question. Mike Lim, you're welcome. Lander Makapagal, what about PNB? What's your question about PNB? Can you give me more insight into that? Alin Lindalin from IRC, sir, bounce 2.2. It's an indication that it's going up. Let's see what's going on. By the way, no, IRC is really just based on the news that it's gonna be part of the subway project. So if it's done well, done right, finishes on time, it can be a cash cow for years to come for IRC. But from a tech standpoint, from a position trading standpoint, the major trend is still there. From a tech standpoint, also look at it now. This is from a 3-month perspective. You'll see that IRC is now sideways. So from a midterm perspective, from a long-term perspective, it's still in an uptrend. A lot of the major support lines have not yet been broken, but from a short to midterm standpoint, it's now sideways. You have a support at around 2.1, you have a resistance at around 2.8, 2.9 pesos per share. So you can trade buy at 2.1, sell at 2.9, and that could be your trading plan, trading platform, trading techniques over this period of time. So you are a quick trader, tama yun, no? 2.2. As long as it stays above the 2.15, 2.1 level, IRC can bounce and challenge the resistance at around 2.9 share. But if it fails to hold the 2.1, 2.15 level, make sure to cut, make sure to get out, make sure to start selling as well. Edward Arcoy, what's your question about SPH? Lotus Mendoza, you are welcome. Yeah, Andy Bloom, amazing breakout last week. So if you are a momentum and position trade, momentum and quick trader, Bloom is a very good textbook example of how you can win in spite of the company. Fundamentally, it's not as consistent in its earnings, and you want, if you're investing for the long term, you want companies with consistent earnings. Bloom has shown you years where it had flat earnings. It's shown you years that it had negative earnings. Then it has shown you that it could do great things in its earnings in 1 year. But for this one, Bloom amazingly is a good stock for trading. A lot of bullish parameters showing that it's good to buy. One of the things that triggered it was a breakout from the 8.4 level. So as you can see, this is the breakout from 8.4. After the breakout from that level, I think it will challenge the next resistances. It broke out from the 100. The next area that it needs to break is a 10.4 resistance level. For Bloom to actually go up, it must break the 10.4 level to turn bullish from a position trading standpoint. Edward Arcoy, please Edward, please don't just put the stocks, no, but please make your questions more specific so we can address it. This is not stocks by request. Mari Chris from Macau, what's your exact question? Please, by the way, for those asking questions, please make your questions more specific so we can answer it. Marvin Exia, hello to you. Bernard Acevedo, hello, asking for, please make your questions more specific as well. Lady Tenorio, what about IRC? They already got the groundbreaking and all, but it's not, but it's like ISM. Eddie Fernandez, I just answered the question about Bloom. Chandler Alejo, hello to you. Eddie Fernandez, IRC again. Sir, what can you say about the swap ISM? Jocelyn Oco, thank you, you're welcome. Janeline Bernard, SEC, what's your question? Guys, for those who are asking, please make your questions more specific, not just giving the stocks, no, because this is not stocks by request yet. Eddie Fernandez, I just gave a question, I just gave the answer for Bloom as well. Joshua Villegas, yeah, spoke about IRC. JC Fibonacci, yeah, I trade foreign stocks. I trade Singapore and US markets. So yun, I like the US markets because it gives me exposure to tech stocks, and I'm a big fan of tech companies. I've been investing in Facebook stocks for a very, very long time already. I've been investing in Singapore stocks for around 5-6 years already because it gives me the stability. Philippine stocks give me, what does Philippine stock give me? It gives me growth. It gives me a cheaper alternative because the fees in Singapore and in the US are more expensive than Philippines than in the Philippine market. So there, that's what Singapore gives me. It gives me access also to gold ETFs. It gives me access to other ETFs that are not available in the Philippines. It gives me also access to other markets that I cannot buy, and it gives me access to REITs. So yeah, I trade foreign markets. It's nice because the principles and the techniques that you have, that the access that you have to trade other markets is pretty much the way you analyze using fundamentals, the way you analyze using technicals is pretty much the same. So Janelle Lantican, anong gamit yung trading platform? You can check out also First Metro Sec. The Pro is very, very amazing. Angelita Malilay, best buy and keep for the long term in 2019. Major, your question, Angelito, is a bit conflicting, no? If it's best buy and keep for the long term, it should span beyond 2019, because if you're investing for the long term, it should not just be based on 1 year. If you are investing just for 1 year, I suggest you use technical analysis. I suggest that you trade. Lanil Beltran asking for SMC. I'll try to add that in stocks by request. Mark Gomez from Milan, hello to you. What's your question about IMI Web STR? Please be more specific. Erwin Espiritu, please make your questions more specific, guys. Carlos Albano from Luwag City, what about Alco? What about it? Not Sam Martin, I just answered Bloom. Alcase Rexted, what about TBGI? Again, guys, more specific questions so we get to answer it very, very well. Pritch Santos, Jean Bernard, will SEC continue to go down? SEC, no, by the way, yan. Gusto ko naman yan. The more specific, the better. Don't just put the stock. Don't just put the stock. So at least, give it's called Ask Marvin because there has to be questions that I need to answer. SEC is profitable. It's a good company run by the Consumis. I had a chance to go to Semirara a few years back, but from a trend perspective, that's for Semirara. It's still pretty much in a long and strong downtrend, and I'm a firm believer of the trend that if it fails to break out of the downtrend, you can expect the stock to just continue in its downward pattern. You can just expect it to just drop and go and continue in its downtrend for the foreseeable future. So until we see it reverse, the long-term resistance is at 28. Until we see it reverse from that, you can really expect it to go up and move up as well. Marvin Exia, hello to you. Alden Lindian, Romel Ramos, Engineer Katap, Mark Gomez, ayan. Sir, ok lang ba ang TA at FA? Ok na po bang mag-entry now? IMI is a good company. STR has all. IMI is a good export company run by the Ayalas. So I believe from where it is right now, it's undervalued. I believe that because it retraced a lot this year, it places it in a better valuation, and it's a profitable company. So if you're asking whether if it's a good company that's earning, IMI hits that. Valuations wise, it's cheaper. STR naman, it's where all of the malls of the VDRs are. So if you're banking on how good they operate in this area, STR is a good bet for you. But you might want to consider the other ones that are bigger, better also in terms of operating malls. I'm still a big fan of SM Prime as a mall operator. Web, I don't know. I don't know the fundamentals of web. It's primarily gambling, but I'll try to check it all. I'll try to check it also for you for later on. Hi, Mr. Marvin from Eddie Fernandez. Can Ali go up to 45 this week? The thing about that is, we can't guess where the markets are headed. We can't guess where it will be. We don't have a crystal ball. All that we can do is just base everything from technical analysis. And what I know is this: the stock is already bullish. As long as it holds 41, it has a shot to go to 45. Will it do it this week? I don't know. But what I know is this: if it completes the rounding bottom, it can very well go above 45. From what I know is this: the stock is pretty much bullish already, short, mid, and long term. Even oscillators are showing you that it's long term. It's bullish, so it's in a pretty good spot if you are a position trader. Next, Lanil Beltran. Sir, every time you see a chart, what's the first thing that you look at first? I draw my support and resistance. I try to draw it up until I see whether it's bouncing from support, hitting the resistance, breaking down from the support, or continuously still heading down until it hits a level of support. So there. Hello, Joseph Cosep, sabi niya VUL. Joel Gonzaga, YSMC big drop because it broke the 200-day moving average, and you have to remember, the stocks will not go up forever. There will come a time where people will need to take profits and sell as well. B-Core, what about it? What insight, MJ Morales? Can you be more specific in your question? Lander Macapagal, PNB long term. PNB is a good bank. PNB is one of the biggest banks that we have in the country. So it's run by Lucio Tan, that group. In terms of earnings, let me just pull it up first. It's pretty much increasing, similar to BDO, similar to Security Bank. You like companies whose earnings are increasing. So this is the earnings of PNB. So in terms of growth, in terms of its financials, I think it's pretty good. It's something that is worth looking at, because I like companies whose income is increasing. I like companies whose income is growing and moving up. Its interest income also is going up, which makes it an amazing company if you are an investor for the long term. SEC will go lower. As of this point in time, it's still in a downtrend, so there's a possibility that it can go lower. Dominic Reyes from Parañaque, what about SMC? Carlos Albano, I mean, fundamentals from Marvin, been trying to find more data besides TA. What do you mean? Can you give, what is this, Carlos Albano? Nakalimutan ko na. You're welcome, Engineer Katap. David Cristobal, does URC has a chance to go up? Yes, it has. However, the problem with URC is its income is declining. Then you have to remember, it's at 200 plus, it's expensive. At where it is right now, it's still expensive. Where it is right now, it's still overvalued. From where it is right now, there are other options that are cheaper and growing for it. But every stock has a chance to go up. The question lang is, where are you buying? Are you buying when it's going down? Are you buying when it's retracing? Are you buying while it's falling? My style is, I don't want to buy a stock that's bearish. Lalo na if I'm trading, I don't want to buy a stock that's falling. I want to buy when it has reversed and start to go up as well. So Felix, I answered Bloom. Nodge asking about to go. Please be more specific on what the question is. Rafi Remata, MRSGI broke out last week. Joel Gonzaga, VLL has good earning, but the stock is still down. So if you are an investor for VLL, Joel Gonzaga, it's a good time for you to keep on accumulating that stock. If you are a trader, stay away first, because there's no reversal yet going on. So that's the difference between trading and investing. VLL, stay away because it has not reversed. VLL, investing, pick it up while it's cheap, pick it up while it gives you a good potential to earn later on as well. So how many percentage of income do you keep in the bank? How much percentage do you invest? I don't have my exact figure with me, but I tend to I believe cash is a position, and I put a lot in cash as well. It doesn't mean that I don't put a lot in stocks, but over the past few years, I've realized that in what I do, I'm not employed, so I need to keep a large stockpile of cash as well. So if I have a lot, if I keep cash, yes I do. I don't follow the rule that you must only have 6 months. That does not follow. It does not hold merit. Keep as much cash as you can, because cash is a position. You don't lose cash if you are investing. As long as you're investing, okay lang for you to have a large position of cash. Think about Henry C. Think about the Ayalas. A lot of them have cash stored with them. Hindi lang sila nag-i-invest. They have a lot of cash also stored with them as well. Engineer Katap, what sentiment? Mark Gomez, sir, salamat sa sagot niyo kay Web. Marami pong salamat. Joseph Mendoza, Nicol SCC, Jeric Ramos, hello from California. Merry Christmas to you as well. Jin Bernard, speak or sideways. Let's see. Ayan, gusto ko mga questions sa ganyan. It has to be well-rounded questions that can be answered and explained, no, na hindi lang siya stocks, but it has to be something that we can put some analysis into it as well. So here's how Petron looks like. Petron failed to hold the support at 8.3. Should it continue its downward move? Yeah, it can move sideways with the next support range at around 7.2. So it's more of it breaking down as well. Romel Ramos, why is STI going down? I don't know. I don't look at news. I just trade it based on charts as well. STI, if you look at it, it's not actually going down. It just broke out from two significant moving averages already. Medyo nahirapan lang siya because it's at the 100-day moving average level already. So there. Red Miranda, hello to you. It's nice to do this Facebook Live, no? Again, I'll do more and more over the next few days. So that's it. No, I'm a bit tired already. Been doing this for how many minutes, but thank you so much for everyone who's joined us in this Facebook Live session. I'll do more over the next few days. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Congratulations, Miss Universe. Congratulations to everyone who's making money in the markets this year. For those, if you're losing, okay lang. Keep on practicing. Keep on refining your skill, because the more you build on that skill, that's what's gonna help you make money over the long term. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo, back in Manila. Just came back from the Bloomberg TV interview. I hope this video helps you. Trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you.